Time to check in with the Stremmes. Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tire. Dirt, late model, dirt modified, and big block modified talk. Now on MRN.com. Here now are David and Ashley.
Welcome, y'all. It is Tuesday. Am I loud in your ears or what? Because you totally perked up there for a second, Mr. Stremme. Anyhow, we are going to catch up on this weekend's dirt racing in the modified, the late model world. Great stories here. We have Johnny Scott joining us. He came to the East Coast. He's typically a U.S. MTS guy. He came to the East Coast and he picked up 2 back-to-back wins.
Why do you pick on him as just he won an IMCA race?
I'm not saying, I said what he
USRA
does typically is run US MTS.
I know,
Good
I'm
God
just
Almighty.
messing
Here we
with
go. We're going to start right off at the top. I love it.
I
It's
just
going to be a
love
great show today.
Everybody gets trademarked. Oh, they're that, you know.
Anyhow, we also have Chris Ferguson joining us. He
What'd you
picks up.
trademark him as?
Huh?
Would you trademark him as?
I didn't trademark him as anything. Fergie.
Renegade, like he's an outlaw or...
No, he's not an outlaw.
Okay,
though.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'll
my
let you
goodness
finish.
gracious. This opening is not going well.
Sorry.
Chris Ferguson will join us. He picks up the Jack Starrett Memorial. It's actually second one in a row, I believe. And last and certainly not least, we have Bob Dillner, the man behind Speed51.com. I think we're going to chat a little bit of all sorts of racing with him, I'm sure, as you're busy doing whatever you're doing on your cell phone here. We're your hosts, Ashley
Listen,
and David Stremme.
I'm sorry, I'm multitasking.
Yeah,
I
you're
have to.
busy.
We're busy. We had a great weekend as Johnny is in one of our cars and he won 2 out of 3. Some guys were testing. It's a busy time of year. So
Yeah.
anyways,
Right now,
I will
it's
tell
time to
you
talk radio.
it is and I think a lot of you had seen on social media was floating around Charlie Floyd who
Yes.
he got in a really bad crash up at
Ohio.
Southern Ohio, right by Portsmouth area and stuff. As of right now, he's still in critical condition.
Yes.
They took him off a ventilator. I know he's relation to Charlie Swartz, who builds cars and everything in that area. And I mean, we've seen Josh Richards, so many people reaching out, hey, their thoughts for him. But anybody had seen a video, I mean, fire's scary. It's my worst nightmare as a driver and stuff. But he was upside down in the car, fuel with it burning. Thankfully, the track crew, the track put out a statement saying, hey, they had foam there, the water trucks, the fire department was there on hand.
Yeah.
It took them like 4 or 5 minutes to get it put out.
At least.
And they got him out. What I had heard, talking to a few people, I mean, it was hot enough, and anybody who knows anything about race cars where you're contained and the fire, it melted his belts and a lot of other things, and just really
story.
thinking of him and his family right now.
Yes,
so
absolutely. Thoughts and prayers to all of them.
very, very tough. But then we also seen, and you look at racing is dangerous. We all know that. Jason Kinney, who was up at Eldora, their season opener in the modified race. And you can go to Eldora's Facebook page. They got some video of this. Flipped right at the start. I mean, it was vicious flip, end over end. I seen some pictures of that fuel cell. It was crushed up, and he walked away. I mean, car's destroyed. Yeah. So you never know.
Same in Canandaigua. There was a really bad sprint car accident this weekend, and I believe his last name's Donk. I can't think of his first name off the top of my head, but a hellacious crash, and is very lucky to walk away as well.
So my thing is look, it can happen anywhere. We seen there's a wingless car went in the grandstands. We seen a little video of that this weekend. It is dangerous, and you know, if it's your time, your time. Anyways, enough sad stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
What
like to
about when the big money's on the line? We ended our show. Who we going to go with? And Scott Bloomquist ended up picking up
absolutely.
the Batesville
I didn't
race.
expect anything less, to be honest, though.
I mean, I say it all the time, and I see it. And as a driver, when I go to a big race, I mean, I'm putting in a lot of extra effort. You know, we go run some different races, and I admit it. Hey, I test a lot of stuff and do things, but man, these guys, when the big money's on the line, they show up for sure. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting, Earl Pearson Jr., second year back, when he got hooked back up with Dunn Benson, finished second. He's got his new Longhorn. I was a little surprised. Davenport was there, but I have a feeling they're trying a lot of stuff. Even though it's a big race, Rumley and them are not sitting stagnant. And hey, I mean, he was still there, but a lot of great contenders there. And obviously, it was a pretty good race, other than Bloomer stunk up the show.
No doubt. It was really cool. Race season is in full effect, finally. My win list is huge this week.
I was wondering how you're going to keep up with that.
Things are finally back. It's insane. I probably am not
did
even going
you
to
have,
waste my time.
I seen Bobby Pierce won
He
the
did.
Slocum 50.
Bobby Pierce, Billy Moyer Jr., Jimmy Mars, Mikey Marler, Madden. And that's just the late model side of things.
Mars, it was an interesting story. They were running that little series there in the Midwest, and they went to Billy Moore Jr. left Batesville, went to, I'm trying to think of the series. I was talking to Tony Jackson Jr. about it because I'd seen this video they had run during the day at a fairground, Missouri State Fairgrounds there.
State Fair.
And that's where Moore Jr. picked up to win. But I was following that. Rodney Sanders was running. They had some really, really good cars in that area. So.
Real cool. Bedford's 80th anniversary season started this year. Just a little shout out to the Pennsylvania. Yeah, Bedford, Pennsylvania.
Tony was there with the All-Stars. I mean, I know that's Wing Nation
exactly
show, but and also Mid-Atlantic Modifieds will be making their opener this weekend there. So.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Also, one last thing. Our producer, he is in Vegas today, so we have a new producer, Daryl. But it is Krager's birthday.
Oh,
so we have
happy birthday. Oh, my God.
If you're watching on YouTube, you get to see an awesome throwback picture of our good buddy Krager. And I do believe Robbie, the guy who puts all our video and all the cool stuff together for us, will probably be earning one from Krager on this
That is a business in the front, party in the rear, in Vegas style.
That's exactly right.
Anyways.
Oh, goodness gracious. I love it. A couple mod winners, the usuals, Mike Mahaney, Neil Williams, Buffalino, Shepard.
Chris Arnold won at County Line. He was over there. They had a regular show going on. But I'll tell you what was crazy. I was following Devin Moran. I get a kick out of following him, Bobby Pierce, because they're very into social media and doing stuff.
Younger generation.
So Devin had put on a show. He come from the back, or he come from 10th or so. Now I wouldn't say the back. Finished second at Eldora and had a tech problem. And I'm like, man, he got disqualified? What the heck happened? So I was reading, he had an LM40 on the right rear. And you're supposed to have an LM40 right rear. He had marked an 06, which you run, I think it's in Lucas or one of the other series. It's the same tire, just a different number on it. And I'm like, if you're going to have that, then say you can run an 06 or something. I mean, we got enough cost in doing stuff.
Rules are implemented for a reason, and we know that.
But hold on. And this is where, listen, everybody knows I'm a purple guy, and I tell all my purple friends at Hoosier this all the time. Don't mark a tire just for a series. I hate that, I mean, because then it's all just a money deal. But anyways.
Welcome to our world of racing.
Anyways, listen.
All about the money.
Devin Moran put on a heck of a show. He got DQ'd. But I thought it was cool. He put it out there, at least let people know, hey, this is what went on. So.
Absolutely. Well, putting on a whale of a show, we will talk to him. Up next, it is Johnny Scott here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
O'Reilly. If you do-it-yourselfers are looking for the right tool for the job, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale. You'll find a wide selection of Power Torque tools on sale now and guaranteed for life. Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale going on now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get all the reactions and latest word from the track immediately following each race weekend on MRN's Motorsports Monday with Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Johnny Sauter drives the number 21 Chevrolet Silverado.
I didn't know that necessarily we'd win first race of the year.
Log on to MRN.com every Monday at noon Eastern or stream the program from the MRN Media Center on demand. It's MRN Motorsports Monday, only on the Motor Racing Network.
It's all over. At Martinsville, Virginia, Richard Petty has pulled it off.
Throwback Thursday, classic MRN race broadcast on MRN.com.
Waltrip will win the track race to turn 3. Earnhardt gets him. Hard into the wall goes Waltrip. Hard goes Earnhardt. Everybody else spins either way.
Out of the number 4 corner down to the line. Neil Bonnet is going to win. The Northwestern Bank 400. He'll beat Waltrip a 2-car length.
What a finish here at North Wilkesboro.
Throwback Thursday, Thursdays at 1 Eastern on MRN.com. This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires. Joining us now, he picks up back-to-back Renegades of Dirt wins this weekend. It is Johnny Scott. Welcome to the show, Johnny.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I know you like to sleep a little bit later than normal. That's why I was a little concerned about having you on the show today. Are you back in Las Cruces, New Mexico?
No, we're in Cameron, Missouri.
Hey, he's also our customer. You can't be
but he
mean
loves
to
to
him.
sleep. We always bust him about that.
I don't think so.
Yes, you're the
Johnny,
one who does it all the time.
So you guys are in Missouri. You set up shop there, and obviously you've had a really hot streak where you won IMCA race there at I-80. You guys ventured out, went to the Renegades of Dirt race. You finished 1-2 out of the 3 there. It's got to say a lot about your program. Tell people kind of what's going on. You and your brother have teamed up. You got your own team. What all you've had to go through, because it's not like you guys said, "Oh, hey, we're gonna go race." There's a lot that's went behind the scenes.
Yeah, we decided to start Scott Brothers Racing this year, and over the winter it's been really busy. We had to get 4 cars put together, and we had a new hauler on order, and we didn't get it as early as we planned on getting it. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that we've had to go through to get everything ready to go racing. We're not completely. We don't completely have the trailer like we want it. I mean, we're still getting parts here and there. It's just, it takes time to get everything exactly the way you want it, but we're getting there slowly but surely. But it's just, there's been a lot of stuff that goes into just starting over fresh, and we're getting it, and our racing program's getting really good, I think, and I think we're going to have a lot of wins this year.
Well, with starting your program, and you guys have drove for some really cool people, big teams, and that. What made you guys team up and said, "Hey, we're going to do Scott Brothers Racing"?
We finally had the opportunity to have enough sponsors to make it where we were able to have our own program, and without all of our sponsors, it would never be possible for us to start our own racing program like we have this year. So I got to really thank all of our sponsors that we have for that, and it definitely takes a little pressure off not having to drive for other people, because you can go race wherever you plan on racing that weekend, and if you want to take a weekend off, then you can take a weekend off. But for the most part, we try to hit as many races as we can, and it's just it's definitely been a lot more fun this year.
I want you to elaborate on the fun, working with your brother, and now you guys get to share input with where maybe before you didn't get to do that. We had a really awesome picture of you and your brother on the screen just a little bit ago.
I don't think they share a lot.
That's probably true too. But the good thing is, Johnny, you actually have one more W in the win column than Stormy does this year now.
Yeah, he's definitely getting. He's a little frustrated after last weekend because we went and ran the Renegades of Dirt races. He had bad luck the first 2 nights, and then I won the last 2 nights. But he had a good run that last night. I just think he's gonna start doing a little better here soon, I'm sure. Just sometimes you have them weekends where everything doesn't go the way you plan, but yeah. It's definitely different racing with your brother all the time, because I mean we get along for the most part, but every now and then we got some arguments, just like any brothers or sisters or anything like that. But we try to get along for the most part, and then our crew guys, Levi, he does most of the work on my car, and I went to school with him, so he's been one of my best buddies for a while. And then my brother has Screech that works for him, so we're all around the same age, so we have a really good time out on the road, and I enjoy it.
Well, I'm a little envious. I told you that before. You guys are having a blast out. You get not only the guys working on your cars are your friends, you go do a lot of things together, but when I had talked about it, and obviously you're in the lethal car, so we talk quite a bit. It's funny because I wanted to tell the fans at home. I was talking to your brother, and we were talking about setups and doing stuff, and I'm like, I just took it for granted that he was telling you stuff. And when I talked to you, you're like, he never said that. So
communication.
How is that? Where, obviously, I mean, I know earlier this year you'd changed. You wanted to go to the spec-headed motor, and your new motor wasn't done. Stormy's like, here, just take mine. There is that competitive side to both of you, but I think personally, and I want to get your thoughts, you two together, because you never were really teammates before, it's going to be a pretty strong year, already this far out of the box and having that many wins.
Yeah, you got to watch Stormy. He talks, he knows a lot of stuff, and sometimes he doesn't tell me everything that he knows right off the bat. I got to watch him. When he starts changing stuff on his car, I got to ask him about it. But for the most part, he usually tells me most of the stuff that I want to hear. He just, so I think sometimes he forgets and just keeps some stuff to himself. But yeah, if he won't admit it, but if he's not able to do good the night that we're whatever track we may be at, he'd rather me win versus somebody else. And
yeah,
I'm the same way. If I don't have a chance to win, I'd rather see him win the race that night. But yeah, it's definitely different racing with your twin brother all the time.
What are some of the races coming up? I know you went to the Renegades of Dirt race, but and you guys are as Ashley had put it a while ago, USMTS region area.
Yes.
What are some of the other races you're looking at going? Are you going to go to like the Illinois area or come back to the West Virginia area any to go racing?
Right now we don't really have a general plan as far as racing one particular series. We're just gonna bounce around and just whatever makes sense for us to go race that pays the best is probably where we're gonna go that weekend. Like this weekend coming up, we got 3 USMTS shows that are within an hour of us, so we'll be running those this weekend, and we're gonna bounce back and forth from USMTS and run some IMCA stuff, and I plan on running some of the bigger paying UMP races this year, and we just take it week by week and figure out where we're going to go.
I want to ask for the race fans who don't understand the differences that might happen between IMCA, USMTS, UMP. Is there a lot that you have to change for yourself personally when you climb in between those different cars?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it helps us to where we're able to have 2 different cars, one that's IMCA legal and then one that's more of an open car where we can run USMTS or UMP, because the setups between each different sanctioning body is quite a bit different, and you have to adjust your mindset, and also the setup on the car is a lot different. So it is a little different bouncing back and forth, but it's all the same concept, so it's not too hard to adjust back and forth from each one.
Yeah. With moving to Missouri, you said you got a shop there. What made you guys locate in that area?
We've always liked the Kansas City area, and it seems like no matter where we go to race, we're always traveling through here, so it just made more sense to have something that was more centrally located. That way we could basically go to any race we wanted to, and it would save us on time, because as much as I like Las Cruces, New Mexico, it's just too far away for the kind of racing that we do. But it's nice to go back home in the wintertime or when we have a couple weeks off to visit everybody. But yeah, it's just being up here is just a lot easier on us for traveling and stuff.
Yeah, I've told you I'm gonna come visit, and not just in Missouri. That some of the pictures, besides racing, you've gone out, you go hunting, fishing. A lot of the people that follow you on social media, you have a pretty good time outside of racing also.
Yeah, I try to do a little bit of everything, because you only, like they say, you only live once, so I like to venture out, go on vacations here and there, or go fishing, hunting. I really enjoy doing stuff like that. I love racing, but there's a lot of other fun stuff that I really enjoy to do besides racing, and I'm just lucky to have the opportunity I have to be able to do a bunch of different stuff like that.
What is now? As I've got to know you, and I thought this was quite, a surprise more than anything. What was that you said you can? And actually, I think Stormy was one telling me about you being able to. You're pretty good. Is it called lassoing? Like where you throw that rope in there?
Roping.
Yeah, roping. They said you're pretty good at that, but obviously, what was that? Your dad finished. I forget. You were telling me out of how many out there in Vegas. What was it, like 300 something?
He does the World Series of team roping, and he got 5th overall in Vegas this last year. I think him and his partner split like $140,000 or something like that. But yeah, when I go visit my dad and them in Taos, New Mexico, is where they're from. I like to go up there and we brand cattle, and I go roping with him, and it's just another fun hobby that I really enjoy to do whenever we're not racing.
Well, I just remember Stormy and Levi and Screech bragging on you on how well you are at roping. So maybe we'll see you in some competition sometime.
Yeah, well, like I say, whenever I'm not racing, I'll go back home and I'll go to some little ropings with my dad here and there. We have a lot of fun doing stuff like that, and it's just something different besides racing. Sometimes if you do too much of one thing, you can get burned out on it. But that's why I like to do a bunch of different stuff during the year, just so I don't do too much of one thing and get tired of it.
Well,
absolutely,
that's good. Hey, and like I've told you always, if I got my second car done now, and you guys don't want to bring your cars back, we got that legendary Hilltop race at 10,000 to win. You and Stormy have flipped a coin on which one who wants to drive it. But anyways, I'll be talking to you soon. Again, good luck this weekend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Tell everyone I said hello.
I will.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I love him.
I'll tell you what's funny is he's really laid back.
Yes.
But when you talk to him, you're like, man, them guys gonna get up on the wheel, And we went testing the first time, and I was like, wow, they're fast, but they're so smooth, and their feedback, but their intensity into the racing. And that's why I feel they are so good at when they go to different places. So I'm just happy to have them part of our team, with driving the lethal cars.
And they really hit on it. Melendez, Screech, Levi, and Stormy and Johnny, they all have just this great chemistry, and they all do get along. And yes, it's like a brother deal with all four of them.
It's like a rock band.
But absolutely, they're going to have their issues from time to time. But for the most part,
it's like a rock band.
They're a good crew to have around for sure. But up next, we have Chris Ferguson joining us here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com. Where can you find MRN-affiliated radio stations? Go to stations on MRN.com to find your local station or stations that stream MRN's race broadcasts and programs. That's stations at MRN.com.
O'Reilly.
If you do-it-yourselfers are looking for the right tool for the job, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale. You'll find a wide selection of Power Torque tools on sale now and guaranteed for life. Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale going on now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Danica Patrick to the front of the field at Talladega. They are side by side behind her. Jimmy Johnson.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Love winged sprint car racing? MRN.com is the place for news and information on all things winged sprints. From the world of outlaws to your local track, MRN.com has it covered. Winged sprint car coverage on MRN.com. This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires. We're your hosts, Ashley and David Stremme. And folks, it is Fergie time. That's right. Welcome back to the show. Chris Ferguson, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. First one of the season, a repeat of this race at Modoc. How cool is that?
Oh, it's definitely very fitting because Jack was an important guy. And to be honest with you, if it wouldn't been for him, I don't think I ever would have made it this far in racing.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, we actually, when Jack passed away in 2010, we were, I was actually currently driving for him at the time. So it's an honor to be able to say that we were the last driver he had, you know, and it's an honor to say that he was, you know, the guy that actually picked me up and really made it possible for me to begin racing super late models in the first place.
That's what
That
I knew that
sweeter.
part, and I was asking, you know, as the laps are finishing down, how emotional was it? You know, because he did do a lot for your career.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, well, I tell you what, to be completely honest with you, you know, it really didn't hit me until after the checkered because my brother was spotting for me, and Casey Roberts was basically on me about the whole race. So I was so focused on just hitting my marks to make sure I didn't screw up. And but about the time I come off turn 4 on the last lap, that's when it really set in. And you know, bigger picture things. If it wouldn't have been for him, then I wouldn't even had the chance to win it last year or this year. And it's just one of those things you never really forget people that, especially the stepping stones of anybody's racing career, a person that really took you to the level that you're at nowadays. And I'll probably never forget that ever.
That's really awesome. Really, really cool. Some other really awesome stuff you have coming out of your camp earlier this month. The Champion Spark Plug Search for a Champion winner. You actually won that this month. Tell our fans a little bit about what exactly that entailed.
For the most part, it's kind of a competition contest deal that's between, you know, pretty much any kind of racer of any type of racing. I mean, it can be drag boat racing, drag racing, sport bike racing, dirt bikes, dirt modified, asphalt. Basically, anybody has the chance to enter in the contest. And basically, between all the people that are entered in, they pick 15 finalists, and then they narrow it down. And a third of it's the fan vote, a third of it was voting from the judges, and then a third of it was from the actual presentation of a video we submitted, and also a essay. So very fortunate to be involved in the racing community because I feel like the dirt racing world basically gets behind all of their drivers. And, you know, I think that was the biggest thing. We had such a big following and support system that when it come down to the voting and the people that was sharing everything, that we had a shot at winning the $50,000 grand prize. And they called us, I guess it's been about 4 weeks now. 3 weeks ago, they called us and told us that we were the winner of it. And now we're pretty well funded and for this year with Champion Spark Plugs as my primary sponsor, and look forward to working with those guys and really representing a brand that does a lot for short track and racing in general.
I think really I was following along, and obviously I'd voted for you. I thought you were well deserved because you aren't one of the teams. You know, last year you won some World Outlaw races, but you're not a team that's like a really huge funded team. So this money will go quite a long ways in your racing program.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we've always been able to kind of race off of what we need to race off of and do it the right way. But I think for the most part, this 50,000 that we get from them really will help out as far as buying some of the stuff and working to get faster. I've worked with you personally, and you know what it takes to get to the next level. And a lot of times it requires going and testing and having stuff at your disposal to go try or buying tires to go test or really renting a track and stuff like that is stuff that's not always a necessity. But when you have the proper funding behind you, I feel like it's easier to do that stuff. And then in the long term, look at things, you get faster and hopefully win more races.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't think, I was happy when you got it. I couldn't think of a better person to represent Champion. But with going into this year, obviously we've seen you hit different markets or I should say different series, different tracks. What's some of the stuff on the horizon here that you're looking to go race or some of the fans that if they don't typically get to see you in the Southeast, where can they go find you?
I guess I can go ahead and let a couple cats out of the bag. I mean, for one, we're going to Fairbury this year.
That is awesome.
They got mad at me last year because we were going to come up there for a race, and I had a couple sponsors that were going to help us. I believe it was the Fan Frenzy race, and we ended up not making it just because we kind of made a decision at the last second. It was, I think, 60% chance of rain, and it was one of those things. If we drove, I guess I don't even remember how many hours it was, over 10 hours.
It's like
and
12,
it rained,
13.
It just wouldn't be no good. But that's one of them. And then the other ones, I think we're going to Knoxville, Iowa this year for the
Awesome.
Late Model Nationals.
Way cool.
That is. Fairbury is, when you go there, get Rigsby to get you hopefully you have a big fat head. Because the backstretch is phenomenal to watch, the fans and their interaction. And the other thing, something that Kevin Rumley had told me, after the races, do not load your car up early because they will not
boo
like
you
that.
the next
so
night.
it's unlike what I call these southern tracks where they run very late and normally everybody's kind of like, hey, we're going to get home. And they do enjoy their after hours of entertainment and socializing, I should say.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I've got some good buddies, Mike Norris, among one of them, and a few other, Tim, and there's a few guys that really have been ragging me hard about not coming. So I'm pretty excited about making the trip, and hopefully I think I've, for the most part, been known to be kind of an elbows-up driver. So hopefully I put on a show for the fans there. That's kind of my goal to go there.
I know as a driver, I went there, obviously Kevin and Jonathan were like, hey, you need to go run this place. I'm like, sure. Well, it's only 3 hours from where I grew up racing. But I went there and I seen this track and I'm like, man, this looks small, But it is so racy. You get out there and it's just amazing at how the community, everybody gets behind this place and they try to make it the best they can with what they have there. And it's phenomenal. It's a racy place, up top, bottom, middle, 4 wide, whatever you want to do.
Just don't jump the cushion.
Yeah, oh my.
It's got a monster.
But it's fun. Like we rode our 4-wheeler around the whole town and went to a few of the local restaurants and done some stuff, and it was really, really cool. So I'm happy to hear that you're going to be able to make it up there this year.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it because I love going places where the atmosphere is just electric, and places like at Eldora for the World 100, even the World Finals come Saturday for the finale. All these places where these fans really go out of their way to support the drivers that travel. And it's kind of the same thing I've heard about Cedar Lake before, how the fans, they tell my friends at ASI have told me before, if you're going to go to one of these big races, let us know because we need to send you some more T-shirts because places like Cedar Lake and Fairbury, the fans actually appreciate you guys traveling out, and they come over there and support you, and most of them will buy out all your T-shirts up. So, like I said, any place that fans get behind the track like they do, I look forward to going to it, and really look forward to going to any track that's like that.
What are your thoughts? It's interesting you talk about the fans and doing stuff, and you said it with your Champion the program that you were going after there. The dirt fans get behind the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, as we've seen the asphalt world kind of, I wouldn't say it's kind of going all over, and that's my background. I used to see it where they were so diehard, but now it's like these dirt fans are so loyal. What makes all that? What is the one thing, besides you drivers being interactive, what is the one thing you think that allows them to draw to dirt racing and then to just stay following?
I guess, for the most part, a lot of it probably has to do with, the fans can really, the majority of the fan base in dirt racing, they can afford to go to a local race about anywhere. The cost of stuff really helps out a lot, and that's what makes it more affordable for fans to get behind it. But then the people actually love the racing.
Mm-hmm.
Dirt racing, in my opinion, and I've watched all kinds of forms of racing, and I know I am biased a little bit, but I feel like the dirt racing stuff, whether it be sprint cars, modifieds, dirt late models, anything, it's just like dirt bikes. It's just the most exciting sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I think fans take that to heart because, a lot of people don't like football or basketball. And, there's a lot of people that don't like racing either. But dirt racing in general is just so exciting to watch that I think the fans feel like, interaction does help out a lot. But whenever they see their favorite driver go out there and drive as hard as he can and sometimes crash, sometimes win, I think they really appreciate that, and they really appreciate what we do just as, not just drivers, but
Mm-hmm.
people that are, normal like they are that just happens to drive a race car. And I think that's the reason why fans relate to us and also get behind the sport.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot you hit on there that is very true. But, hey, summing up this, one quick answer I have, quick question I have for you is, and I'm not talking, Bristol's not the answer. If there was an asphalt place that you could put dirt on, what would it be?
Oh, man. You know what's crazy? There's a lot of answers for that.
Yeah.
That I, could really say would be exciting, but
Mm-hmm.
probably, this is going to probably come as a surprise maybe to you. I think one of the most exciting tracks would be Concord.
Really?
If you did Concord with a dog leg on the backstretch and have that at a dirt track, make that a dirt track, I think we could probably see some pretty exciting racing there.
Yeah. It's interesting as I've switched to the other side, is what I tell people. But, like I go, man, Friendship up here in North Carolina, it used to be asphalt. Asphalt's still underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a great job, preparing it. Plymouth Speedway up in Indiana, they just putting in these magnificent, huge grandstands, and they've put dirt on their place. So it's interesting I ask you that because Concord is kind of stagnant over there, and it would be pretty good with some dirt on it.
Well, I think, it's tough in this area because we do have a lot of tracks, but, Carolina runs Friday night primarily. I know Gaffney does pull Saturday, but ever since there's been no Metrolina around here, or because I didn't grow up in the area. I was a kid.
Yeah.
But my dad told me the Metrolina heydays was just awesome to be a part of because the racing was awesome, the atmosphere was awesome. That's where everybody went on their weekends. And I think it would be cool to have, with the racing so big in the Charlotte area, it'd be cool to have a track like maybe Concord or, Metrolina.
Something a little closer.
Be open.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank y'all again for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. What do you look at me like that for?
I wasn't done, but okay.
I was just telling him thanks, but I was like, hey, you.
I wanted to know. Oh, is he now? It's fine.
Oh. I was just telling him thanks, and
that's hilarious.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
Anyhow, no, it's fine.
It's your show.
Well,
she reminds me
of
that all the time.
Please write that down.
Listen, she reminds me all the time. What great. Hey, I got to tell you.
Tell me.
I know we have Bob Dillner coming up, and to end that with Ferguson, because
Uh-huh.
Bob's a asphalt guy.
He is, absolutely.
And he's still an asphalt guy, but
he is. We're
he
converting
has gone
him, though.
a lot to dirt, so I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Yeah, well, we'll do that next, right after the break here. We'll be back with Bob Dillner here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, the host of NASCAR Live. You know, we've been taking your calls every Tuesday night for over 30 years, but now you don't have to wait for Tuesday to let us know what's on your mind. Call Motor Racing Network's fan hotline at 844-4-ASK-MRN.
You know, I enjoyed this past weekend's race. I didn't understand why Danica...
He can dish it out, but he can't take it. When he bang it in the joint.
Be a part of the voice of NASCAR. Call 844-4-ASK-MRN.
MRN's Wing Nation on MAV TV.
Hi, I'm Donnie Schatz.
This is Paul McMahon.
Hi, I'm Brian Brown. I'm Steve Post.
And this is Kendra Jacobs.
Join us every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for MRN's Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV.
I'm Kyle Larson.
Hi, I'm Sammy Swindell.
I'm Kerry Madsen.
We talk with sprint car winners, newsmakers, and personalities, and give you the latest sprint car news every week.
I'm Rico Abreu. This is Wing Nation with Steve and Kendra.
MRN's Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.
Saturdays at 9:30 on MAV TV.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back. We're the Stremmes, and you're listening to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tire. On the phone now, he's the boss man of Speed51.com and the voice on Lucas Oil broadcast team. It is Bob Dillner. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Well, it's fun listening to you guys. I listened to you before, the commercial break, and I found out whose show it is.
Yeah, I'm reminded all the time.
Well, hey, she did win that big Bandolero race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So
listen,
I know, David, you got to win before that, or sooner than that. But he is a winner.
Yeah, I believe I'm the only one who has a win from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Oh, I'm just kidding, babe. I love you.
Anyways, hey, we were talking to Chris Ferguson, and your background to me is a lot of asphalt. You've done a lot of stuff when we were ASA racing. That's when I first got to meet you and your brother. And as Speed 51 has grown, it was big into the asphalt. I felt really big into the short track market of helping drivers and doing stuff. Mm-hmm. But you've been going more towards the dirt side. What is it that you're seeing, or what's drawing you to that?
The health of dirt racing, honestly. I know, David, you and me, a year and a half ago, sat in the Monster Mile coach lot there and just chatted about, what's going on with pavement racing and the bickering and the infighting and what is right about dirt racing. And I think the bottom line is the passion, the overall passion and emotion is still there on the dirt side. I'm a little bit concerned with some of the technology that's coming in that I think could really hurt dirt racing. But at the same time, I don't care whether you go to Florence, you go out to Wheatland, you go to Carolina. The people are passionate about the racing, and that is really awesome to see because it's a short scale as far as the day goes. You come in, you get your job done, you race, you go home, and you have a good time doing it.
Absolutely. I really want to hit on what you said with the passion, because you're 100% right. Do you feel that it's because on the dirt level, the drivers are still able to interact and the fans can get into the pits and the drivers have time for them, where that's kind of changed in the asphalt world because it's kind of moving to the level of NASCAR?
Yeah, I think that definitely has something to it. And another thing, actually, honestly, if you look at pavement racing, and listen, Speed51.com has grown over the last decade or so, and we're proud of it, and we're proud of our pavement routes. But at the same time, honestly, for the most part, I'd say 85% of pavement racing is all about making it to the next level, and that is a big problem. Where in dirt racing, I love going to the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series and working for Lucas Oil Racing TV or MAV TV, because guys like Jimmy Owens, Scott Bloomquist, Jonathan Davenport, those guys are there to stay. Yep. That is their home. That's how they make a living. And even with the young upstarts like Chase Younghans or Mason Ziegler, those guys, they would love to make it over to the big leagues of NASCAR like David did, but at the same time, they're completely content with, running, all out and going for the victory up against some of those veterans. It reminds me, honestly, of the scene like the old ASA National Tour on the pavement side.
I think, with you saying that, kind of brought a lot of light to what I've seen where, and this ain't pick on asphalt world, because
no, absolutely.
There's still a lot of great things, like you started televising the Snowball Derby, the Winchester 400, a lot of different races that the asphalt fans can really, watch. But when you talk about drivers moving and doing stuff, we see it all the time where a kid will be there for a year or two and then all of a sudden he's gone. And it's hard for fans to relate to that, whether they go out to a Nashville Speedway or whatever. In the dirt side, we see so many drivers, like we'll just say Tony. Tony, has purchased the All-Stars. He was just there at Bedford this past weekend. Casey Kane goes, Clint Boyer. The asphalt guys that were, I should say, like Kyle Busch, where they were very passionate where they come from, they've kind of gone back. But a lot of these guys, they haven't stayed there long enough to be appreciated of, hey, this is how my roots are. They're just kind of like, as a stepping stone. And I think that's hurt fan base and doing stuff where, like you said, it's amazing. I remember last year you were at Portsmouth for the 100,000 to win.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
It was unreal at the amount of fans. And we're talking out in the middle of nowhere. The car counts, everything. It was phenomenal at that following, but you hit it because they know, well, hey, Bloomer's going to be there, or Earl Pearson, but yet, oh, man, who's this young guy here? This Bobby Pierce, look at him up on top, or Devin Moran, or any of them guys, and there's that following that has stayed and helped, and it's something interesting, and I think you bring a lot to the table on the asphalt side, being able to help as you venture out and you're looking at all these other types of motorsports.
Yeah, and I think if you look at Portsmouth, it's a great example. Every dirt race I've been to, and that one is a great example, you walk in that midway and you feel like you're at a fair. You feel like you're at something important because, no matter what driver you're a fan of, 3/4 of them have their T-shirts, thanks to a company like Arizona Sports Shirts, they have their T-shirts for the fans to purchase.
Yep.
And that is part of the building block that dirt has. Pavement does it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have it, and it's just great to see dirt racing. I mean, listen, it's got its issues too.
Yep.
But for the most part, dirt racing is really where it's at right now.
And when I look at issues, and they're getting better. I've seen some highlights of the Bristol race when they had dirt on it. It was so fast and dust and doing stuff. But even from a technical side, you've done some broad or done some video feeds from dirt races, and I know you're going to do the Southeastern Modified Tour up at Legendary Hilltop for their big 10,000 win. Mm-hmm. How difficult is that on the equipment and getting set up at places that maybe don't have the right internet or lighting or different things?
It's really difficult. Honestly, I remember we did that race that you won at Friendship last year, the big money modified race. And honestly, I was a cameraman down in the infield. Mm-hmm. And they kept on saying to me, Bob, we're coming to you every lap. And I'm like, why? They said, we can't see the cars from the upper cameras.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I could barely see them. So yeah, there's little things, and I think it's very derivative of the part of the country you come from. We know the clay in certain parts of the Carolinas is very difficult to keep the dust down.
Yeah.
So that is a problem for sure. But I think, as we progress, you'll see less of that. I love the raw feel of it, and we're looking forward to going to Legendary Hilltop and doing that big race up there for the Southeast Dirt Modified Series. We're dabbling, and I grew up, kind of just fascinating about the Super Dirt Car Series and the Troyer mud buses and all those machines up there in the Northeast. And Speed51.com is doing a lot there this year as well. So, love the modifieds, but I can't wait, honestly, to get some more of these dirt late model races coming up for MAV TV.
And I feel you're on the side that's really the forefront of what short track racing is doing now, because we look back and I was talking to one of the gentlemen here in the MRN studios about this. You had ASA that was on TNN. You had Speed with the Pro Cup series. We had all these different little series and little television programs. But then now has come out the internet feed and different ways to be able to get the video out there with short track racing. And you've done it. We've seen it. Like I had said, I was amazed at the Snowball Derby coverage, because I'm like, well, I ain't going to go because now Speed 51 TV has it. So I'll just stay at home and watch it, But getting that out there to the fans, how much has that helped bring back short track racing and bringing it to those people that want to see it that maybe not able to travel?
I think it's really cool because it increases the exposure for the track, the series, and definitely, the kids coming through the ranks especially on the pavement side. They get noticed more. If the moms or the uncles or sponsors can't make it, they can still tune in. There's so many people, not just us, dirtondirt.com, racingdirt.com, you have the Cushion. They do such a great job at covering everything for people to see, whether it's video highlights or live races. The problem is, like you said in your last question, the dirt does take its toll on equipment.
Yeah.
I know we're still cleaning dirt out from Friendship. Honestly, I kid you not, about a week ago, we found some more dirt because it comes out of all different places at different times.
Oh, my.
So it's a battle. It's a big investment. I don't even want to tell you how much money. My wife could. But tell you how much money that we've invested. But like you guys, we love short track racing. Yes, it's a business for us, and yes, we're trying to make a living from it. We don't hide that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we want to, position ourselves the right way, and we think the streaming thing is that next big thing. There's so many people cutting the cord right now, and getting rid of their DirecTV or their, cable, and honestly just going to Hulu or going to Apple TV or whatever. And there's a lot of gains to be made there.
I'm one of those guys. I'm telling you, I haven't watched regular TV in a while.
I want to hit on that a little bit, being that you're, behind Speed 51 and doing all that cool stuff. With social media and the advances that we have, I want your personal opinion. A lot of tracks are for, against things like Periscope and that kind of thing. Where do you ultimately stand with that from a business standpoint?
That's a really difficult question because, you want the fans to be excited. But I saw a Facebook post about this one person who's involved with the team going to a particular race in the Northeast this next week. And she said, hey, I'm going to try this Facebook Live thing so all of you can watch. And then the post after that, oh, good, I don't have to go to the race. I don't know if that's a good thing. The plan that we have, and a lot of different people have, is we have a revenue share with the series or the track or whatever. So whatever we take in, we split. It helps pay our expenses, helps, make them a little bit extra. Sometimes it's a couple $100, sometimes it's a little bit more. So I think, honestly, the Periscope thing and Facebook Live is dangerous. And you can say, well, Bob, you're just saying that because you're speed51.com. And, yeah, you're right. But at the same time, we've looked at Facebook Live, and we're going to use it to promote prior to the race. Talk to David Stremmes if he's at the Southeast Dirt Modified Series race, and talk about how cool it is, so that way maybe people will want to come out to that next race and not stay at home. So that is a big thing. But I do want to be clear. A lot of people think, and I remember Mike Herman Jr., he's a spotter in NASCAR. He goes, how many people did you have for that last pay-per-view? And, I told him what it was, and he goes, oh, 15,000? I'm like, no, dude. Not even 1,500. We were talking in, just over 100 for this one particular pay-per-view. So it's not like a lot of people are making a lot of money on this at this time because people still are hesitant to take out their wallet and say, I ain't going to pay for that, even though they don't have to go to the racetrack.
Hey, think of
Great perspective.
Think of it this way, and because I've thought a lot about this. I look at yourself and Rigsby and a lot of these guys as you're the Chris Economaki, Dick Bergerons of this era, where, they went through the same troubles of trying to get their papers, magazines, whatever out there. How do we compete against locals and doing all this other stuff? For me, I'll watch some Periscope or this Facebook Live. I can't get the same feed or look, if I'm going to really watch this, as what you're providing. Now, also, like Snowball Derby, I know there's so much going on there, and I'm not, and we can say this about a cup race or anything else, there's still that atmosphere of you got to go to the track to feel it.
Yep.
Yes.
So I kind of look at, there's different things. Obviously, there's challenges that you're up against, but some of our forefathers, I say, had the same challenges. So I think that you guys will work through this, but there's still a lot of stuff, I watched my brother last weekend at LaSalle. They had a Facebook Live, and I'm like, I could kind of see his car. I'm like, okay. I got the gist of it a little bit, but I'm not, I couldn't sit there for an hour and watch all that, So I could watch, an hour of the of a live internet feed, through it. So
what's interesting is what Lucas Oil is doing.
Yes.
Those people are just gung ho about what they do, and they're very passionate. And we're all a little bit like, wow, they're doing such a cool job, but they're really focused on their products, so they're not interfering with anybody else.
Yeah.
However, for $6 a month, you can go on and see, all their old shows. You're going to be able to see a lot of live shows. I know I'm going to Lake Elsinore, California this week to do the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series. I'll be doing Wheatland with the Show Me 100, 3 straight days streaming live on lucasoilracing.tv. And for $6, if you can't make it, I mean, what a bargain that is, honestly. It's the best deal in town.
Hey,
so true.
We're going to take a break here. I want to keep Bob on.
Oh,
if that's okay. But
we
got to pay a little bills
only have 3
here.
minutes to the close.
That's fine.
Okay.
We have him on.
All right, perfect. We'll be right back here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Come join us every weekend at America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. Hi, I'm Rob Tanner, your host and master of the grill, as we get you ready for high-octane NASCAR racing with hot laps and hot tracks. We serve up 2 hours of the best hits in country music and keep you up to date with racing news and features you won't find anywhere else. Sit down and have a seat. It's our regular weekend pit stop for country music at the speed of sound, NASCAR USA on the Motor Racing Network.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
It's everybody just trying to say my last name. They just don't finish it.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
For the most part, our hearts were wagon makers.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Motor Racing Network has always been your source for motorsports coverage when you couldn't be at the track. Now, never miss another minute of our breathtaking coverage with the MRN app, available on your iPhone or Android device. This free app delivers all the latest news, locates nearby MRN stations, streams your favorite programs, and is your home for live Sprint Cup practice and qualifying action. Search MRN in the App Store or on Google Play. It's the Motor Racing Network at your fingertips, and it's available.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. We're your hosts, Ashley and David Stremme. Before we go, we want to say thank you to Bob Dillner. We have a lot to talk about with this man, so we'll have him back on the show. Bob, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Great job you guys are doing.
Thank you. Some upcoming races. Lucas is at Sharon and Hagerstown, and just check social media. We're Slingin Dirt. We're the Stremmes. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.
This has been Slingin Dirt with Ashley and David Stremme. Listen every Tuesday at 11 Eastern on MRN.com for more news, interviews, and opinion from dirt tracks all over America. Slingin Dirt is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.